Doom: The Dark Ages is not a cheap game. Including taxes, I paid just over 100 Canadian dollars for the standard edition. While I have been enjoying my time with it, I can see how the price tag may raise questions about the long-term value and replayability of the game, especially since it only offers a single-player campaign. In this video, I'll give you my reasons for still playing Doom: The Dark Ages, and hopefully provide some fresh perspective on how we perceive value and experience long-term enjoyment in video games. The first and most obvious reason to replay the campaign is to do it on a higher difficulty. If, like me, you finished your first playthrough on Ultra Violence, I urge you to give the campaign another go on Nightmare. In my experience, Ultra Violence sometimes allows you to get away with sloppy plays and does not really demand as much situational awareness or careful positioning or safe timing of parries and melee attacks or a full utilization of your toolkit and so on. While I had a blast with my Ultra Violence playthrough, I also felt I was able to essentially power through with just a decent grasp of the basic mechanics and a handful of safe strategies for different types of encounters. I've been replaying the game on Nightmare while also trying to 100% each map. I'm about halfway there and I have been enjoying myself a lot more, not just due to the tighter, more engaging combat, but also because I do love exploring the world. I find it beautiful and interesting, and the additional upgrades and lore fragments are also welcome. I think Doom veterans, however, especially veterans of Doom Eternal, should probably not spend their time on anything lower than Nightmare. And once you've completed that, perhaps consider fine-tuning some of the sliders to make the game even more difficult. As for Pandemonium or Ultra Nightmare, I know for many players that is sort of the end goal, but I personally don't plan on playing on those levels anytime soon. This is because A, I don't have that much time for gaming, and B, these settings do not make the gameplay any more difficult. They simply increase the penalty for dying by restarting either the chapter or the entire campaign. My actual biggest plan for the third playthrough is to disable the slow-mo. Hopefully we will have a patch that adds this option by then, but even if we do not, there is already a mod available for it. I think playing the game without slow-mo will make the experience a lot more fluid and exciting. Another idea would be to play a sort of Hotline Miami version of the game, which is essentially maximum speed and maximum damage, both received and dealt. I tried this briefly and had a few good laughs, although it is clearly not the intended experience. However, for those of you who dislike parries and melee, just know there is almost none of that in this configuration of sliders. Also on the topic of difficulty settings, I know there are certain extrinsic rewards such as skins that the game offers for beating it on the highest levels, but these don't actually mean that much to me. I am happy enough to have a high skill ceiling and a fun process of reaching for it. And I do sincerely feel The Dark Ages offers both of those things. When you really break down your motivation for playing any game in any given moment, what it comes down to is really these two things. You are having fun and or learning something. There are both a sense of enjoyment or engagement in the present, as well as a sense of meaningful progression or growth towards some inspiring ideal or interesting objective. As far as extrinsic rewards go, I do find the extra bits of lore interesting, and I am motivated to hunt them down as I am a bit of a Doom lore nerd. Also, discovering additional upgrade materials allows me to add some variety to my playstyle with weapon and gear upgrades that I've been neglecting up to now. Still, the number one reason for me to replay the game is that I'm enjoying it, and I'm getting better and better at it. While I'm not seeing a ton of new content, my enjoyment of it is growing deeper. I think many gamers have become rather cynical and in a sense numb to quality. I see a lot of people complaining about things like the number of play hours or how many weapons there are to unlock or how many biomes. I don't see nearly as many people discussing quality or depth of feeling. I don't think some people even remember what it means to truly love or be so enchanted, so immersed by something, so in awe that you temporarily forget about yourself, your life, and its petty concerns. And that's really sort of the main benefit of escapism that we look for. And I'm not saying the Dark Ages is like the highest form of art, although I do think many of its aspects are, very well crafted. But I think we have sort of stopped looking for that quality in games and are a little overly preoccupied with quantifiable metrics. What I'm trying to say is that Doom the Dark Ages, like many other games, had an obviously large amount of love poured into its many aspects. Games aren't merely products to be compulsively consumed, but also works of art to be appreciated. The very word quality is often juxtaposed with quantity for a good reason, and many of the things that truly move or fascinate us cannot be reliably objectively quantified. The campaign of the Dark Ages may not last very long, but it left me wanting to revisit it for reasons that have more to do with quality and less with quantity. There are things I want to re-experience, things as yet undiscovered, as well as things I want to dive deeper into. Okay, so what else is there to do in the Dark Ages? To be honest, outside of replaying the campaign, either to experience additional content or just for your enjoyment and improvement, not a whole lot. And that is fine by me because I am loving the game that much. Also, as far as a purely economic value is concerned, when I'm passionate about a game, I am a lot less likely to spend my time and money on others. Not just because I'll be too busy, but also because my interest in other things will feel less compulsive, as it's already happily, meaningfully engaged with something that feels of substance.